Don't we have one that's flat?
We used to. Doesn't this one pull out and then go
I
flat?
have no idea.
It used to. See, it used to. Yeah, it doesn't anymore. Sorry, bud.
I don't know where the other one is.
Is that going to stay together for you? I didn't staple it. I probably should have
No,
stapled
that's all
it.
right. No, that's fine. And Ron Fleury gives me his evaluation here. What am I going to
Here, I'll put it with my stuff because I have
All right.
certificates and stuff I got to take back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for being here tonight, where we have the opportunity to provide some accolades for the accomplishments of our student athletes over this 21-22 school year. Before I start the program, there's a few people that really deserve a lot of thanks, and the most important one is Chris Greer. Chris does all the work in trying to help get all these things set up all through the year, senior programs, helping me with scheduling, helping me with putting stuff on the websites for streaming and et cetera. So she does a tremendous amount of the work, and for the most part, we get along pretty well. There are some times when I get moody, she gets moody, and things go a little awry, but overall it's a great working relationship. So Chris, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. To Mr. Klingerman, members of the Board of Education, faculty, and administration, thank you for all of your support throughout the year. It's been a tremendous opportunity, and I know you've put forth, all of you, a tremendous amount of time and effort to help our student athletes succeed. We've moved on a little bit, I hope, for good from whatever it was called a few years ago in the last 2 or 3 years. And with any luck, if everybody stays smart, stays safe, hopefully it's in our past and we can move on to normalcy completely in the future. To the parents, thank you for all of your support and all the struggles and all the expense that you have provided over the years for your children, not only to be student athletes at Mynderse Academy, but I know whether it goes all the way back to youth and travel and AAU and whatever else is out there, you put in a tremendous amount of time for your children. You know, our students, unfortunately, we're not large enough that we can say, okay, if you only want to play one sport, that's great, and that's not a problem, but we're not size enough where we need students to participate in 2 and 3 sports. And the problem becomes, not only does the coach want you to play during the fall or during whatever your respective season is, but he or she also wants you to play and work out in the off season, in the summer, and it's an ongoing 24/7 ordeal. And parents, for the most part, are transporting students back and forth and dealing with all the expense, time, and energy. So I really want to thank you, because you obviously are the ones that make it happen. To the student athletes yourselves, thank you. You put in a lot of time and sacrifice. 97-point-something% of you throughout the year academically stayed above the line. Back 100 years ago, when some principal decided to put in an academic eligibility policy, who was originally against it, but was talked into it, and it really, in my opinion, and I'm the idiot that obviously put forth all the time and effort to fight it, but it really has worked out very well, because everybody knows where the line is, and as I said, for the most part, they stay above the line, and if they do fall behind with a little intervention and the proverbial boost, they get off the list relatively quick. So the academics is extremely important, but obviously your participation in student athletic activities is very important. To my coaches and to the student athlete coaches, you put in a tremendous amount of time and effort. Again, I know it's not just during your season, it's throughout the year. And I'm not going to speak about sport-specific activities and sport-specific skills, which every one of you need and your coaches are constantly impressing upon you to work harder at. But I'll be honest, I think one of the things that our students overall lack, when I look at some of the other schools that we compete against, is the total physicality and being stronger. And that's not something where you can go out and shoot 100 baskets or kick 100 goals or hit 500 golf balls. Those are things where you have to be in the weight room. Those are things that you have to work out at, to run, to get in better shape, to get bigger and get stronger. Because the bigger, stronger, quicker you are, the more success you're going to have competing, and at the same time maintaining your sports-specific skills. So I know you put in a tremendous amount of time, and I thank you very much for that also. So without further ado, I'll start with our fall sports and first introduce Coach Joe Karaher. If he would come up to present the awards for varsity football. The first award is called the Team Award or Coach's Award. It depends on what coach or what team likes to put it out there. And I'm going to read it just one time because obviously it happens pretty much in every season. But we try to work on the criteria to present it to a student athlete who has exemplified truest values of being a team member, who has consistently shown dedication, spirit, respect, and sportsmanship. This student athlete has represented Mynderse Academy and the team and has earned the respect of the coach and his teammates. So for the football season, we'd like to have Joe Jane come on up, please. Our next award is presented to the first-year player on the varsity football team whose play, attitude are considered major contributions to the team. The recipient, Luke Olszewski. Football program puts out an offensive and defensive lineman award who, in addition to being a lineman, has to perform in an outstanding manner as far as ability, and has to be highly coachable, has to exemplify productive off-season preparation, vocal leadership, and selfless, conspicuous loyalty to the spirit of Mynderse Academy. The offensive recipient, Robert Witten. The defensive recipient, Blaze Kiefer. Most improved player as determined by the coaches. There are two people, Jack Anderson and Logan Pettengill. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce varsity boys head soccer coach, Mr. Peter Dole. The first award, coaches/team award, the recipient, Carter Taccone. Most improved, Rowan Markle. The James R. Amadon Memorial Award, awarded to the boys soccer player who was the most versatile team player, the recipient, Mason Buckley. And for the boys soccer team, this year's most valuable player, DJ Bruni. My pleasure to introduce Coach Mel Morin, girls varsity head coach for soccer. Our first recipient is the Coaches Award. The recipient is Abigail Lynch. Most improved player, Serena Pagan. Defensive Player of the Year, Grace Lando. The Offensive Player of the Year award goes to Jackie Sinacropi. The next two awards will go to the same recipient, the Golden Boot Award for most goals and assists in a season, and the most valuable player, Ella Worth. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Sharon Esposito, head coach for volleyball. Because of the specific skills and variety of skills in volleyball, the awards are not determined by most improved, most valuable, etc. So the Kills Award, which is first, the recipient, Bridget Miller. The Team Award, Janiyah Dyson. The Most Setter Assist Award, Megan Marley. And the Blocking Award, Sydney Host. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce head coach for cross country, Mr. Don Densmore. The first award is the Ironman Award, presented to the student athlete who has accumulated 100% attendance and participation throughout the entire season. The recipient, Matthew Mahoney. The most valuable player for the boys, Matthew Mahoney. The girls' most valuable player, there are two, Ramona Gons and Faith Reinhardt. Most improved player, girls and boys. For the girls, Lillian Dombrowski. Boys, Drew Palmer. The Robert O'Connor Memorial Award, awarded to a cross-country runner who has found and used inner strength, stride by stride, and a true example of spirit. The recipient, Nick Jastrazab. The next two awards go hand in hand. There's not probably anybody in here that remembers Kim Troisy, who was a student of Mynderse Academy and a great student athlete. Kim, in loving memory of former Mynderse Academy cross-country runner Kim Troisy, it's presented to the female runner who demonstrates determination, a strong desire to improve, and who is likely to make running a lifelong pursuit. In addition, the team award, which I've read those kind of criteria before, they kind of go hand in hand. And the recipient for both of these awards, Madison Cosentino. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Girls varsity tennis coach, Mr. Scott Redding. As Coach Redding comes up here, there are no most valuable player or most improved player or team award player recipient. This entire team is a Section 5 Class B2 champion, and every one of them are most valuable players. So if they would all come up here, please. Bridget Aceto, Elika Gons, Flora Lynn, Amy Mahoney, Holly Marriott, Abigail Palmer, Sydney Partee, Leah Redding, and of course, head coach Scott Redding. The next fall season was varsity golf. Unfortunately, Ms. Brewer is unable to attend this afternoon or this evening, so I would like to present the awards to the following. The team award presented to Troy Cabot. The Peter Suffredini Memorial Award goes to the golfer whose ability, effort, and leadership were major contributions to the team. The recipient, William Korzaneski. The most improved player for this team, Michael Bogart. And the recipient of the most valuable, Luke Spinner. Moving on to winter sports. At this time, it's my pleasure to call up Coach Jerry Anderson, girls varsity. The first award is the Coach's Award, and the recipient, Bridget Miller. The most improved player for the year, Madeline Verkey, sorry. Most valuable player, Mackenzie Higbee. I would also like to take this time, excuse me, to thank Coach Anderson for all of the service and time that he has put forth in our girls basketball program. He will be relocating and moving to another part of the country. So, Jerry, thank you very much for everything that you did. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce Coach Pat Praine, head coach of Varsity Boys basketball team. Our first award is the Coach's Award, the recipient, Michael Bogart. Congratulations. The next award goes to the Outstanding Defender, the recipient, Jaden Reichel. The next award is the Abe and Helen Verkey Award, and it's presented to the basketball player in recognition of outstanding varsity play that displayed a team-first attitude with leadership, toughness, and respect towards others in the game. In addition, the same person will receive the most valuable player, the recipient, Troy Cabot. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce head coach of indoor track, Scott Porter. Our first award is the Coach's Award, and it's presented to the boy and the girl on the track team that are most deserving, meeting the criteria. For the girl, Madison Cosentino. The boy, Joe Andrews. Most improved players. For the girls, Sydney Partee. The boys, Noah Smith. The next award in memory of 1970 graduate Robert Mercury Morris, who was an avid runner. Track, I think, was his, actually, I don't know if it was his middle name or first name, but 365 days a year, the young man was running constantly. Unfortunately, he was taken away at an early age and a way too early age. But Robert Morris was a tremendous athlete at Mynderse Academy and a great student. So it's my pleasure to introduce the recipients for this year for his award. The girl, Lillian Dombrowski, and for the boys, Joe Jang. And the most valuable player for the respective squads, the girls and the boys, Jasmine Whitaker and Ryan Ferletti. And before Coach steps off the podium, I'd like to thank him. Coach may or may not, depends on the mood of the day, but he has provided a tremendous amount of service to our track program. And if you're not aware of what indoor track involves, it's in the wintertime. And we don't have too many good facilities for indoor track. So through his leadership, most of the time the kids are outside. We're lucky once in a while to get, well, this year it happened to be Hobart William Smith College for a few days, but most of the time it's either in the gym, the hallways, or outdoors. So, Coach, thank you very much. I appreciate Next is Varsity Wrestling, and I'd like to welcome to the stage Coach Bob Plate. The first award is the William Karaher Team Award. The recipient this year, Robert Witten. The Robert Buckwald Rookie of the Year Award was initiated in 2012 by Mr. Buckwald, who is a 1962 Mynderse Academy graduate who not only excelled in football but also in wrestling, who had a passion and dedication for wrestling. He was inducted into the Mynderse Academy Hall of Fame in 2012 and started this award in his honor. It is given to a first-year wrestler who exemplifies an excellent work ethic, dedication to the sport of wrestling. The recipient, Ian Fleming. The most improved wrestler, Jack Nicholson. And selected as the most valuable wrestler, Joe McDonald. Thanks, Coach Plate. To move on to the spring, first of all, varsity baseball, Coach Charlie Foster. The first award, team award, goes to Jacob Praine. The Dugout Club Award goes to the varsity player who represents the program by exemplifying the qualities of honesty, integrity, sportsmanship, both on and off the field. The recipient, Brody Heron. The Angelo Suffredini Award goes to the varsity player whose ability, effort, and leadership were major contributions to the team. The recipient, Jaden Reichel. For the most improved player, the recipient, Max Santana. And most valuable players this year, DJ Bruni and Will Korzaneski. Next, it's my pleasure to introduce varsity head softball coach Ron Johnson. The first award, the Coaches Award, our recipient, Faith Reinhardt. Most improved this year, the recipient, Kirsten Lejeski. This year's most valuable player, Lauren McDermott. And now let's move on to track and field. First for the girls, my pleasure to introduce again to the stage Sharon Esposito. The Coaches Award, the recipient, Madison Cosentino. Track and field is broke out to field events as well as running events. So the most valuable player in the running events, Sydney Partee. And for the field events, Isabella Ferrara. And now it's my pleasure to call up head coach Ron Fleury, boys track and field. Coach Fleury's done this now just about 50 times. That's the truth. It's close to 50 years. The first award is the team award, and it's presented this evening to Dom Pister. Congratulations, Dom. The Robert Mercury Morris Award, the recipient, Oakley Fitzgerald. The most improved player, Jadiel Ubailis. And the most valuable player, Ryan Van Vleck. And now I'd like to bring back to the stage for tennis, boys tennis in the spring, Coach Scott Redding. The team award recipient, Liam Tanner. Most improved on this team this year, Luke Olszewski. Congratulations. Most valuable player, Noah Smith. And now to present varsity girls lacrosse, I'd like to bring up head coach Corey Foster. The first award is the team award. The recipient, Haley Mosch. Defensive player, Sydney Host. And the recipient for the most valuable player, Kelly Koberger. Varsity boys lacrosse coach, Mr. Joe Karaher. The recipient for the team award, Logan Pettengill. The Dana Dixon Defensive Memorial Award goes to a team player who best exemplifies the courage, determination, and dedication to his teammates that best represent the characteristics of the late Dana Dixon. The recipient, Joey Andrews. The position awards for attack, Lucas Stevers. Midfield, Dylan Tandle. In the Ball Hawk Award, Carson Montoni. Before I move into a few special awards, in your program, I hope you would have taken the opportunity to notice not only the accomplishments for each team, each sport, but probably, in my opinion, the most important thing is the scholar athlete status that pretty much every single team this year in all 3 seasons earned. We only had 2 teams that did not earn it, and it has nothing to do with the ability of the students or their academic abilities. You have to have a certain number, and of that number, you have to have at least 75% that have a 90 or better average. If you only have a small squad, it's not possible to do so. So all the students, I congratulate you, and I congratulate the faculty for the amount of work that they did to make sure that you did your work and you achieved at the highest level. So thank you very much for that. The Patricia Hurley Award goes to a 9th grade girl who best exemplifies good leadership, sportsmanship, and athletic ability. The recipient, Lillian Nicholson. The Warney Wormuth Award goes to senior girl and boy based on athletic ability, sportsmanship, leadership, and scholastic achievement. The recipients, and please hold till I announce both, for the boys, Joey Andrews, the girls, Abigail Lynch. The Aldo Ali Biatini Memorial Award is awarded to the senior male and female student athlete who is in good academic standing, has demonstrated the greatest amount of advancement in interscholastic athletics. There are 2 recipients. First, and please hold your applause. For the girls, Sydney Host, and for the boys, Will Korzaneski. The next award is in memory of a very good friend of mine who back in the day was a head football coach here, assistant principal, and just a great leader. The David Geithner Award, dedicated in memory of Mr. Geithner, who was a football coach, assistant principal from 1981 to 1988. This award goes to the student athlete who best exemplifies the ideals and values exhibited by Mr. Geithner. He was a very compassionate and dedicated professional educator. The recipient, Joseph Jang. And for our last award, I'd like to call up our trainer, who I did not mention early on, but I would like to take this opportunity now to congratulate him, to thank him for all the time and effort that he has put forth in working with our student athletes, not only because of injuries, but to help prevent injuries, to work with parents, to help communicate and arrange the opportunity if they needed medical attention and getting appointments, and following up in addition to concussion protocols and whatever other protocols that unfortunately health situations bring. At this time, Mr. Meister will tell you, or I'll tell you, he'll present awards based on Finger Lakes Health, who Mr. Meister is employee of, and they're the regional between Geneva and all through this Finger Lakes area. But they present this award for the students who have persevered through injury, excelling and returning to the sport in which they so very much like to play. There are 2 recipients, and if they would please come up here, Cheyenne Magnum and Caitlin Korzaneski. Chelsea Korzaneski, I'm sorry. Her father told me to say Caitlin, because every time Caitlin scores a goal, he puts up, or Chelsea scores a goal, he puts Caitlin's picture up there. Thanks, Andrew. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
I've had the pleasure of serving under his leadership as a student